Hello everyone, Dan14 Prime here. I want to do a video share out today with you guys on the Magic Square MS-01 Light of Freedom. This is a third-party unlicensed Transformers Optimus Prime, a very G1 cartoon-esque masterpiece scaled figure. Retails for about 120 bucks. If you're interested in picking the figure up, check the link in the description below. If anything on the channel is ever helpful to you, any shopping you do through those links supports the channel at no cost to you and is very much appreciated. If you're interested in checking out the packaging and pack out that this guy comes in, check me out on Instagram, same handle, Dan14th Prime. This is becoming a very popular third-party Optimus Prime. Given the recent announcement of the MP44 Takara Masterpiece Optimus Prime coming out in August and its significant price tag, a lot of people are turning to alternatives such as this figure here. Alright, let's dive in closer and check this figure out. Let's take a quick overview of the Light of Freedom. I wish they had given this figure a name, because Light of Freedom doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. Magic Square, pretty much known for their legend scale figures. This, I believe, their first foray into masterpiece scaled. You can see there, great overall sculpt. Very just kind of plain, but that is G1 tune accurate look for Optimus. You can see here from the side a very just sleek profile, no real kibble or anything protruding to speak of. Wheels on the legs all hide away well. No really backpack that you wouldn't expect there anyways. Some nice chrome smokestacks there come off the shoulders. And you will notice the little gas tank there on the leg. That's sort of a faux piece with a larger one hidden away for the truck in transformation. Really solid from the back view. Again, no kibble. Everything just closed off nice and tight. Panels making everything all come together really well through the back of the legs. Let's dive in here on the head sculpt. I think it looks really good. Nice round Optimus head with the antenna sticking up, the forehead accents there. Great face and battle mask and then the nice blue accented eyes. If you compare that to the MP10 head sculpt, I think they took the best of it, but then also just sort of smoothed it out around the top and maybe even made it a little bit more narrow there. Here's Light of Freedom. Let's call him Loft. Compared to MP10, you can see all the nice tune cleanups they do, smoothing out a bit the sort of the chest into the waist. Definitely smoothing out the lower leg in particular, just to get a more cartoon likeness. And the colors as well, definitely a little flatter and softer on Loft versus MP10. Then the profile here, again, I think Loft does a much better job tidying up the legs, where the wheels go, the tanks on the side, and then even putting the stripe for the cab, making that go around the back of the arm, I think is a nice touch. Here we have Loft next to MP36 Megatron. They work really nice together. It is a good G1 tune likeness. Probably the only overall criticism I can make of Magic Square's figure here is it's basically like blue molded plastic, gray molded plastic, red molded plastic. And yes, there's some translucent plastics. Yes, there's some paint accents. But they're mostly relying on the plastic for the color. And I will say, when you put that next to Megatron, who has, more metal and die-cast pieces on him, I think, and definitely a lot more paint application, Loft does come off looking a bit flat. Let's do some quick pans here of Magic Square. Just get a bit closer in. Again, nice, just smooth overall look. Some paint accents up here on the lights, the windshields, window wipers, I should say. Blue windshields, nice chrome, sort of midsection through there. All the right accents, across the yellow arms and the crotch piece. I will say, back to that point of paint and using plastic for most of the color, you do get just like a metal joint there at the elbow, inside the elbow, could have painted that red. But definitely like the overall look of the figure, and definitely like the lighter gray that they're using there on the legs. Be interested to see a Prime even go a bit more white there, and same with the Megatron. I'd like to see a bit more white there, because that's even more tune accurate in my opinion. Those nice clean legs all the way down to the feet. Jump down the side here, you can see a bit of the profile there behind the smokestacks of the head. The antenna there. Inside of the arm all nice and clean, as is the side of the leg, and again just the little faux chrome tank. And here even I'll just pull that arm a bit out of the way so you get a better view of the head, and you can see the nice midsection through there as well. And then around back here, some black screws in the back of the head, maybe could have been painted, or a blue screw or something. The back panels there, not too bad at all, can't complain about that. The straps around back I prefer versus the side. Get the blue crotch piece kind of wrapping around, so a nice detail there. And just really great job on the back of the legs. some accents back of the feet there, which come in play in truck mode. If we check out some of the extras on Optimus here, first and foremost, of course, is always the matrix in the chest. So you get the open up effect there, and the matrix can stow away. Pull that right out. So then here we have the two matrices, magic square up top, MP10 on the bottom, just so you can see more metallic with MP10. I do sort of like the look of it better, I think. I like the shape a bit better as well. But Lofts is pretty nice, and the blue through there is pretty cool. If you do hold that up through the light, there's like some effect through the blue of the matrix, which is pretty cool when you push some light through there. And we do have his rifle here, which I think looks really, really good. Some nice gray paint they did do up there into the butt of the gun. Check that out. And here it is if you were comparing to MP10. Not transformable like MP10, but more of a gunmetal gray versus black, and definitely a bit bigger overall. They also give you some battle damage accent pieces for the windows, and I think the midsection there's nothing in the instructions on how to use these. But if you've seen the movie, and we all did, we know that the windows are pretty obvious, right? They just push out. Sometimes I find myself accidentally popping these out all the time, so could be a bit sturdier sometimes. And then they just pop back in with some pegs. There is a top and a bottom based off the pegs, but otherwise interchangeable to either side. I will say, though, the pieces look interchangeable and the pegs all seem to be in a way that they can be swapped around. I was having a problem getting this piece to fit as well over here, and it was protruding, so when I swapped them, this seemed to be my best fit. Then when we come down to the midsection, we know we need some battle damage through here. So there's a little tab piece here on the front, taking the whole house down. Trying to get my fingernail in there to wedge these out. Like so, and then we can add in these accent pieces like this. Definitely only one way for those to go. Then you end up with this battle damage look, which is very, very cool. So nice touch of accessories there. And finally, he also has an axe that comes in two pieces. He'll grip the blade of the axe basically like a gun. So it's going to peg in here. You want to feed the fingers through the slot here, which is really narrow. And then just make sure you get this nice and pegged back into the palm. You can see how I've got the thumb flat through there. Squeeze the fingers all in, nice and snug around that. And then take the base of the axe and you're just going to come from underneath. And this gets pretty snug, but wrap through the fingers there and clamp that together. And then you end up with this look. And for nothing, the axe is just way too small. It should be, coming out to here with a big arc all the way across. So that thing just doesn't even look like the right scale for him. Looks very puny. Articulation for the figure is overall good. You can see the head here moves side to side, spins around. I think the joints are overall very tight as well. And look down and look up like that. I do think the articulation could have made bigger strides over MP10 than it does. Shoulders, you can pull out a joint and get them up like that. And it also creates a bit of a butterfly there, both backward, but then forward as well, which is an improvement over MP10. And it lets you really kind of bring the arms together all the way in the front. So a nice upgrade there. The elbow as well improved. Look at that. MP10, you only got about 90 degrees, so you get basically the full elbow range there. And you also get a bicep swivel up there as well. And he keeps his waist swivel from MP10 as well. The hands here, another nice upgrade area versus MP10. You can see all the individually articulated fingers, as well as pins, at the base of the knuckle and at the mid knuckle. I know my MP10 index finger always loves to pop off. So you get a couple bends there. Thumb here, again, base, it's on a ball joint, and then you get sort of a mid knuckle as well on the thumb. You can see how these all individually articulate. I will say they can get a little loose. Sometimes mine just flop down. Here you can see I'm trying to get him to hold his gun, and the fingers just are floppy. So you need to kind of grab his thumb up and try to wrap those in such a way that it helps to keep the fingers up. The hands also just twist all the way around on a peg at the wrist. When you come down at the legs, nice hip skirts kind of all the way around. Maybe this side one I'd prefer if they'd have broke it in the back there as well, so you don't get such a clunky panel to come up, but still pretty good. Nice light ratchet in there. Again, can kick out all the way. You're a bit out of an angle with that front crotch panel there, but it's all right. Again, all the way back. The side panel really protrudes a lot. That's why I would have preferred they split the panel there. You do have a swivel up there at the hip as well. You do not get one at the knee. MP10 had swivel there as well, which I thought was nice to have for this figure. We lose that. The knee here, couldn't ask for anything more. Great bend there. Kind of gets a little ugly through there when you bend it all the way, but some nice detail with like a chrome hydraulic pump in there and some molding on the knee as well. Then finally here down at the foot, you get a rock like this, as we did with MP10. You do not get a side-to-side twist because of the panels here. We didn't get that with MP10 either, but again, we got the knee swivel up top, which helps with pointing the toe type poses and things like that. So that's where losing that has an impact. And the whole foot transforms, so you get like, a separate heel and separate toe piece as well. Also, because of the transformation, you do get a bit of, I guess you call it crunch. It opens up terribly ugly in the back like that. But for a pure straight-on type pose and look, or even if you don't want to be as dramatic as that and just give it a little bit of look, it'll help with looking down. But yeah, as you saw at the beginning of the video where he was striking a very good Battlefield Legend pose up on his stand, plenty of articulation here to strike a very good superhero landing pose. So the articulation overall, can't really complain. My one nit just being I'd like to have that knee or ankle twist. But lots of good articulation improvements versus MP10. So to transform Loft, let's go ahead and give that a little bit of space to the arms, open up the chest, pull out the whole chrome section. Just kind of slides straight out. Then let's just give this a rotation to get our grill together. Give him an extension at this waist joint. Now we can flip down these side panels here and rotate them so we get wheels down. Then we basically just want to bring all this together for a cab front. So rotate the grill around, start to close these up a bit, start to rotate up these panels a bit. Again, we're just going to bring all this together to be the front of the cab. So we can get the chest closed. There's some key pegs here that go into these red panels behind the top of the grill right there. And just push all this together like a puzzle. And you just want to give this grill a nice push back and close up the chest. Let's also just give the arms a rotation here. We'll get them perfect, but let's give them a twist like that. And then let's just twist the whole lower body around as well. Next up, we want to drop the backpack piece down. Just bring the head straight back into it. Square up the head and then just fold that up and it'll clip right in there. And for the arms here, give them one more rotation around so you get screw side facing the outside. Then next here, there's a little panel you can flip out like this, and you can bring this up and you'll find a slot where that will lock into like so. I might come back in and out of that just depending on how easy it is to put the cab together. Next up here we have the arms, which have a lot of panels hidden away in them. You want to lift this up and try to pull that out forward a bit. You'll see a panel section here you need to pull out of here. So there we go. And I'm just going to position that underneath of it for now. Also a panel here underneath to flip out as well. Straighten that out. And again, let's do the same thing over here. Get this panel up. Pull out this inside panel. Sometimes the mirrors pop off. Again, I'm just going to rotate it underneath. There's the mirror, not a big deal. Plug it right back in. Flip out this panel. Also in the arms, we want to kick out the back panel and fold it in half. And then fold it in and up, flush all the way. And just tighten up the fist all the way. And rotate that inside of the arm. Then close back up your panel up top here. That's how I have this right now with the hand protruding a bit from the bottom. Next up here, let's rock this whole shoulder piece back where we had the great articulation. You really want to pull that all the way out and swing this piece back. And this is where often I find actually not having the midsection pegged yet is helpful. Get your window panel out here. You're going to need that. Push that in. Let's not push it all the way in. Leave it about like that. Get the elbow rotation. So we're getting the stripe on the outside. And we want to slide this in here. On this elbow piece, you actually want to be rocking it back a clip. So there's 2 pegs there. You want to just rock it back a clip overall so it shifts. Okay, so now when we bring this together, we're not going to be protruding from the front of the cab. So we get the shoulder slid in here, elbow slid back there, panel comes up and tucks away right there. And there is a key peg right there on the back of the elbow to keep that all nice and flush. So if we're doing the other side, again, let's kick out the backside panel, fold it in half, fold it up in there, fold up the hand. Let's bring that in as well. Let's just get our panel out. Then let me give you this angle because again, we want to shift this back or sort of back a peg with this panel when we close it up. Then here again, if we extend the arm, rock that back, get our elbow joint forward. We have that bent like that. And we're just going to feed that up on through, pushing the shoulder in, feeding that in there. And panel goes up right there, and there's a peg right back here, which is key. We squeeze that in. And you just need to kind of touch it up. Now for me at least, it's easier to go ahead and lock this piece in by slotting this back panel into the waist. And now we have this. Down the bottom legs here, we want to pull out this panel and then just swing it open. There we go. That'll hinge out. Put this little flap up top down. Obviously here we want to pull out the wheels section and give that a rotation. And what you'll see on the other side is the gas tank and a cover panel. So flip both those out. And then we're just going to kind of rock the leg up. Get this up here, and you'll see when you have it far enough out, there's a peg there. So that needs a little extra pull sometimes. Peg's right there. Comes up and we'll peg up here and we'll clean all that up last. Of course, here let's get our Optimus, just foot fold going. Just pinch it together back there. Then here, again, let's just sort of get these roughly positioned where that will peg there. The shin flap here folds in and then folds down like this. There's a little peg here by the back tire. They'll hold that in. Then this flap just folds up and there's a little peg up here up top. Sometimes giving that a little lift, pegging that down, then pushing that down. Same thing on this leg then. If we pull down this panel, just rotate out the entire thing. Again, this panel, kind of fold it down. And don't forget this when you go back to bop mode. It's a cool little panel that just sits like that and fills the shin area. But again, let's pull out the wheel section here. Give that a little lift up and then the rotation. And around the other side here, let's extend the gas tank and the panel here. Probably not doing a perfect job with clearance. There we go. Got that all the way out finally. I will say on the shin here, there's a little panel. You can get a nice finish like this, keeping his leg, or you can flip this panel. I'm going to flip it and this time because I'm curious about using a trailer with him, which I haven't tried yet. So maybe that will help. Let's fold up the foot. Again, there's a couple double hinges in there, so you want to get this nice and flat. There we go. The lower piece folding back on itself here. And again, let's just kind of rock up the whole shin piece to cover up over the thigh. Slide this up. Again, there's a peg right there. Pegs here. And if we come underneath, again, we fold this in, like so. Fold it down. Some pegs in there will hold that in. Fold that up. Fold that down if you haven't yet. And of course, there are some pegs here at the lower leg to keep the back end together. Here we have Magic Square all transformed. You can see makes for a really nice cab for Optimus Prime. Got the nice boxy look of that G1 Freightliner. You know, the stripe comes across with more of a gray than a silver, but the blue through the back is all nice and clean. The tires are rubber-like. You got some nice chrome rims. So very solid overall. We'll just spin it around straight on here. Again, nice chrome smokestacks as well. Chrome wheels in fuel tank. Nice and boxy head-on, chrome grille and bumper. Some translucent plastic in there for the headlights. The wipers are accented. You get nice little mirrors there accented as well. I will say, while transforming, I do prefer the folding mirrors of MP10. These tend to pop out and they don't fold. And when you're squishing the cab together, you often find yourself popping in some of these windows as well. We've seen the profile again, but some, black accents for the steps down here, which is nice. And again, some translucent plastic in there, laid inside of there. I did have mine fall out of there, but I was able to just wedge it back in. Then finally here, the back, again, some nice accents with the feet coming together for like taillights, things like this. You still have the Optimus waist up there, as we did with MP10, and the yellow accent panels, so that remains a bit imperfect. So here is as compared to MP10, and obviously very similar, but you can see the nice little improvements, again, particularly through here with the steps and the reflector versus what you see over here. I will say on MP10 with some of the panels flipping around in the back here, you get more of a truck look on the top here. You can see that versus what you get with Magic Square. From this view, you can see virtually the exactly same length. And probably difficult as relatively minor, but MP10 probably just the smallest bit taller. And you definitely see a lot of MP10 inspiration for how they fold up the feet, but taking some opportunity to improve that as well. So the MP10 trailer, unfortunately, just not going to work. Thought flipping these panels might help with that, but they're too far apart. I think it does help clean up and give you a different look than just how the leg looks regularly. But in terms of the pegs here, I mean, they're really, really narrow there. And there's nowhere for that to catch. Maybe they'll intend to do their own trailer sometime, but as you can see, the MP10 pegs really close in inside of the thighs there. And these, there's some hooks, some grooves here that I thought maybe would do it, but much, much wider apart. We'll add, as I transformed him a few times, I do get some color transfer, like some red onto the gray plastic. Mainly seems to be inside of this midsection though, so it doesn't really bother me there. And I haven't picked any up really across to anywhere else the gray that would be more noticeable than that. So there you have it, guys. The Magic Square MS-01 Light of Freedom Loft. Third-party G1 Optimus Prime masterpiece. 120-ish bucks. Overall, really nice figure. Worth the money if you're interested in picking them up. Check the link in the descriptions below. Again, if anything on the channel is helpful to you, easiest way to say thanks at no cost to you is jump through those links and pick up your figures or any shopping. Again, no big complaints overall. My biggest critique being that he looks a little flat in terms of the color scheme standing next to MP36. But otherwise, a solid G1 design, definitely improvements over MP10, definitely improves the articulation over MP10 as well. Also, if you're looking to pick up a figure like this, there's a Transmental Elephants, Transform Elements. I'll link it in the description below as well. You might want to check it out. It is incredibly similar to this figure, but there's some slight differences. You can find some videos out there that will make that comparison. All right, guys, thanks for checking out the video. I'll see you next time.